And joining us, Aimee Frasier, trainer, West Bloomfield High School Athletic Program. Aimee, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Morning, Dave. How are you?
Good. Now, we all understand that you are a mom with kids at home. So if you got to bring them on your lap or do whatever you can, that's okay. This is community television. So good to really have you with us. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes and joining us this morning. Certainly, everyone, every mom and dad, every parent just like you has got to be a little bit concerned watching this Damar Hamlin story and watching an incredibly healthy 24-year-old football player from the NFL take a hit that didn't look that bad, in all honesty, and then he just passed out, had a cardiac arrest, stopped breathing, and then we watch all this, and it's got to scare the living daylights out of parents. So I wanted to have you with us to understand a little bit more about those kind of experiences. And I imagine you've never had to deal with something that severe at a West Bloomfield athletic event.
Thankfully not. We haven't had any cardiac events at any of our competitions or practices. Even in the stands, sometimes that is something we worry about too, is keeping the spectators safe and being there for them if they need, that support.
Well, sure. And you think about the University of football season, and one of the coaches, Mike Hart, had a problem on the sideline, a similar problem. So,
Yes.
but Aimee, what kind of preparations do you have? What kind of equipment, and what kind of preparations? And my guess is that even though this hasn't happened, this is something that you're prepared for.
Yeah, we're prepared for sure. So we have our emergency action plan, and essentially for cardiac events, we follow the principles of the Red Cross or American Heart Association CPR and AED. So just like I'm sure most people have taken a CPR class, just like they tell you. So you see someone go down, you know what to do to help. If you're certified, you go up and you start with the check, call, care, check for airway, breathing, circulation, that's, breathing, pulse, that kind of stuff. When you don't see that, you immediately start telling people around you, hey, you call 911, someone go get the AED. And then you just start that whole the whole process that we do for the cardiac care.
Well,
And
and we have seen, Aimee Frasier, we have seen these AEDs now, not only at athletic events, it's prevalent now in the community. At anywhere there's a lot of people, it's very possible there'll be somebody trained and there'll be an AED. Let's just back up a little bit, though, for people that might not know. What is exactly an AED?
An AED is an automated external defibrillator. So it's kind of like you see on the TV dramas with the paddles. At the hospital, it's a small version of that. Not quite as powerful, obviously. And it's programmed to check for cardiac rhythm and see if the patient has one. If not, it'll say there's a shock advised, and it flashes bright red and makes an alarm sound right at the button you're supposed to push as the person trained to use it. Push the button, it'll administer a shock, and it'll then tell you to go back into CPR. It'll count off your CPR for you, and then it will advise another testing of the rhythm to see if there is any regain of cardiac activity. If not, it'll tell you there's another shock advised. It'll keep going through that until advanced medical personnel can arrive.
And in the case of Damar Hamlin, he also had a problem with his breathing. So they were able to get his heartbeat going, but then there was a breathing issue. Is that a whole nother matter in and of itself?
I'm sorry, I missed
No,
your
Aimee,
second.
that just so who do you have with you this morning?
I have my 9-month-old. He's named Will. He's the boy. And I have my 2-year-old Camille. So this is
All right,
Will.
hi,
And
Will. Good
and
morning.
then Camille is eating her breakfast.
All right. Well, that's a pretty good thing to do, Mom, when you know you're going to be on TV, is feed them, right?
Will's the noisy one.
It's just fine. We know you have your number one responsibility this morning. So, but the breathing thing, let's talk about
with
that.
the breathing, you'd address you'd adjust the breathing with CPR. Let me just grab.
Sure.
With CPR, you do the chest compressions and your breathing. So for every 30 chest compressions, you do 2 rescue breaths, and that's what helps keep the oxygen circulating.
And I imagine for a football game, or let's say the MLK basketball tournament that we're going to have on Martin Luther King Day at West Millville High School, you've got the AED there. You have your
Yes.
skills and talent. There's probably some
Yes.
other people there that have also been trained. And I assume that you either have an ambulance on site or you can get one there very quickly as well.
Yes. So all of our head coaches at every level are CPR and AED trained. So freshman, JV, varsity, they're all CPR and AED trained, as well as myself and all the administrators. And there'll always be me, at least one administrator, and the coaches are on site. So you have at least 3 people at every event that are CPR and AED trained. Yes, the ambulance isn't exactly on site, but it's right at the north end zone. Off the north end zone of a football field is that fire station.
So, I mean, it's right there. It's next door. It couldn't be any closer. So, probably no reason to
No.
drive it over because it's
Right.
literally a minute away. I think that
Yeah.
the Hamlin issue, part of what hopefully is going to be a good outcome, is the fact that they were able to respond literally within seconds. So, I noticed when I was at the girls' basketball game a couple of weeks ago, I saw you keeping an eye. I mean, you were doing your thing, but you were right there by the court and ready and available. Should somebody need your assistance, you can get there pretty quick.
Yeah, so if you attend a basketball game this winter, you'll see I sit by the back doors, which is right off the hallway that my training room is at, and I sit in a chair with a yellow box under my feet, and under my feet is the AED.
Well, that's all really very reassuring. Amy, I know there are moms and dads and parents that are saying, look, I'm very concerned with this story. It's certainly going to bring it to light. But it sounds to me that you have at West Bloomfield almost everything that they would have at an NFL game. And then that's got to increase the safety margin. I mean, all these athletics things can go wrong. These are athletic events. But it sounds like you have all the necessary safety margins and training to respond to virtually any kind of emergency that you would expect.
We do, and like with varsity football games, we have our team physician on staff and on site. I mean, and he generally comes with 2 or 3 interns or attending that or interns or residents, I'm sorry, that have to get their hours in for their sports medicine certification. So we have anywhere between 1 and sometimes up to 5 um, doctors on the sideline for varsity football. And our team doctor is an amazing doctor. It's Dr. Mitsuros out of Henry Ford. And he is also the Pistons team doctor. So you can't get much better than that.
So I feel a lot better today knowing all that. Thank you for coming on and being with us here today and letting people know this. You can't take risk out of life, but
Right.
you definitely can reduce it. And it sounds like you've done your part. Maybe with this story, we can all do our part. I assume it isn't a bad idea for people to get CPR training. Would you recommend that people, I mean, not necessarily professionals or administrators, can any of us just go out and get CPR training? And would you recommend that?
Oh, sorry. Speaking of
You're
CPR
taking,
training,
well, you take care of what you got to take care of. That's a lot more important.
he's just choking on his spit.
Everything okay over there? Good.
Yes, I would definitely recommend for everyone to get CPR and AED trained.
All right. Amy, you got your hands full. Thank you for joining us this morning. I appreciate it. Very good to see you. We'll have a chance to chat a little bit more when we are out broadcasting live on Martin Luther King Day. I know you'll be there, and we'll get a chance to chat a little bit then, and you won't have a household to be taken care of at the same time. But I appreciate you coming on and being with us. Anything else you want to say before we run off?
No, not unless you have any additional questions.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much. Go take care of the kids.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
Amy.
Sorry about this.
No, you're just fine. It's quite all right. Aimee Frasier joining us. She is the athletic trainer, and what a great mom here in West Bloomfield, taking care of our interview, her kids, and ensuring to the greatest extent possible that your student athletes and everybody participating in a game, we all care that people are going to be well taken care of when they're at an athletic event, at a sporting event, and really at any event. And I just think we've moved into such a much better place to make sure that we have the capabilities, the training, the equipment, the knowledge to understand that there could be an incident and we have the ability to react to it. The life-saving measures that they put in place in the Damar Hamlin incident, had they not responded in a minute or two, and they were literally out in the field in 10, 15 seconds. And based on what Amy said here today, I'm sure a similar thing would happen if you were at a West Bloomfield sporting event. And I know that there are trainers just like Amy at all of our MHSAA activities around the state of Michigan. So hopefully a little bit of reassurance, hopefully a little bit of encouragement for you if you have not received CPR and other life-saving training, that you might want to consider it. And just another thing you can do to help make our community safe. And you never know, you may be in a position to save somebody's life someday.